part, but we'll figure out the live part on YouTube. We're trying to see if we can get it going live for other women to join in. And if not, then also this is from Hashem. That's fine. We're all good. All is fine and dandy. So thank you again, Sorla, for hosting us. The house always smells like a bakery, minimum a bakery. It's so lovely to come into this house and smell such great baked goods. Yes, very Hamisha. So, you know, me with my mishugas on emotions, you know, it was so interesting when I started looking into the whole concept of the month of Tammuz, and lo and behold, I see that according to the Kabbalah, this is the month of controlling our emotions. I said, wow, Hashem, you're really giving me my work to work on our emotions. Okay, so we're gonna talk about how this month really what we're supposed to be doing is really controlling our emotions. And soon we're going to see how come, because it definitely is trying. This is a very trying month when we look at everything that that goes on in this month in history, and as we know, history repeats itself, and the energy of history just keeps going on and on and on. And like at one point, I think it was I don't remember when Parashat Korach was. I don't know if I'd given a class that week or not, but I remember I said to my husband, I said, this week we're not talking about any anything that's going to cause any conflicts or anything, because the energy of Korach is embedded in that week. And so if there's a machloket in the Torah, don't talk about redoing your house, or asking your husband that one more time, can I get this instead of that, and he doesn't agree. You don't want to talk about it during that week. Why am I saying? Because the energy of the parsha is really there. It's there. That's why it's so important. That's why Hashem, it keeps going on and on and on, and year after year after year, because we're supposed to learn our midot, and we're supposed to grow from those stories, so to speak, that come out of the parsha. So the fact that that this month has so many difficult events that are depicted in the Torah that happened during the month of Tammuz, surely that means something for us as far as the things we're going to have to contend with and we're going to have to confront. There were 3 months that were basically given over, so to speak, to the Satan. That was the month of Tevet, the month of Tammuz, and half of the month of Av, up until the 15th of Av. Those are the 3 months of the year where we are exposed to the most danger, where we feel most harm could come to us. There's tremendous stress. There's a lot of judgment and dinim. Gvuot, dinim, same vice versa words. And soon we're going to see, God willing, what we can do to try to lower that tension and the stress. What we know for a fact in this month is that this month was the whole concept of the Avodah Zarah of the Egel HaZahav, the golden calf. And I want to look at the psychological factor that is embedded in the idea of Avodah Zarah. So many of us, because we, of course, Baruch Hashem, have a lot of teaching going on in the Torah world, we understand that Avodah Zarah today, in today's world, is not, I'm looking at a statue, the Statue of Liberty, and I'm bowing down to, or whatever have you. That's not what Avodah Zarah is. When you think about Avodah Zarah, let's take the word that it's Avodah. So first of all, you have a hint as far as what Avodah Zarah is, in the sense that it's Avodah. Welcome, live. Okay, we're here. It did end up working out. So the first, I think, a concept we have to know in Chodesh Tammuz is that there's Avodah involved in Avodah Zarah. It means I'm working. I'm bringing myself to some sort of investment. I'm investing myself in something. The question is, what am I investing in? And it's Zara. It's strange. It's not the avoda of Beit, of my home. It's a strange work. What is the psychological factor in Avodah Zarah? The psychological factor is anything that is negative in my life is considered Avodah Zarah. Any form of negativity that is infused into my life, that should be a red light in terms of psychologically, I might be in now Avodah Zarah. Meaning negativity emotionally, right? And we know the famous pasuk, the famous teaching of the Torah, right? That we understand that a person who gets angry, ki'ilu oved avodah zarah, it's as though he is bringing a korban for, some idol. So we know that the whole concept of avodah zarah means I am working for something strange. I am doing something strange, not something that is homeland to me, something that's within me, something that I could relate to, something that I know is part of me. In fact, if you look at the word TAMMUZ, there's a clear teaching that the Chachamim bring down that the word TAMMUZ in Aramaic means heat. Where did this whole concept of Avodah Zarah come in relationship to TAMMUZ? Is that, unfortunately, when we had the Beit HaMikdash, there was an idol that was put in the Beit HaMikdash, and what we're taught is that in the idol, the eyes of the idol were two eyes of lead. They were made from lead. And because the month of Tammuz is so hot, the lead in the eyes of the idol melted and started dripping down the face of the idol as though he was crying. So in Tammuz, what we see, Tammuz meaning that it's hot, and also the word Tammuz is related to a Babylonian idol, a sun god, a foreign god. So the whole idea of Tammuz is the idea that there was crying from the Avodah Zarah. There were tears coming out, but they were fake tears. They were false tears. The tikkun is to cry tears of truth. That is the tikkun of Tammuz, is to put my heart in a place of truthful emotions so that I'm not crying in falsehood, but I'm crying over things that matter. And that's the real avodah of the Jew. Avodah Zarah is when I'm allowing negativity to come into my life from an impure source. For instance, we're going to talk about sadness. Look how amazing it's taught. And again, this is what, the more I delve into the whole concept of Emuna and emotions and recognize. I was just speaking to a lady before I left the house, and I said to her, we don't realize the importance of emotional health when it comes to our Emuna. Thank you, Hashem. So many people, so many speakers are talking about Emuna. But what's not, in my opinion, not spoken about enough is the idea of emotional health. Because if I'm angry, if I'm sad, if I'm frustrated, if there's any sort of negativity in my emotion, if I'm emotionally imbalanced, I don't want to do mitzvahs b'simcha. I don't want to serve anybody. I don't want to work on my midot. I just don't want to. If I am emotionally not settled, leave me alone. I just don't want to start working on myself, right? The worst time to rebuke someone is when they're in the middle of a tantrum. I learned that Chachamim say that it's like Avodah Zarah, and it's like, just be quiet already. I don't want to hear your mussar right now. So when a person is emotionally in a turmoil, the mitzvahs, the whole Avodah Hashem takes the back seat. Who wants to deal with it? Let me calm myself down. So, very interestingly enough, the Zohar brings down that sadness is considered Avodah Zarah. It was a shock to me when I actually read it. That sadness is mamish a form of Avodah Zarah, which is exactly what we just said now, is that negativity in itself is the psychological factor of Avodah Zarah. And soon I want to bring down now what the Ben Ish Chai says, Atzal, when he brings down a pasuk in Tehillim that says, Atzabehem kesef v'zahav ma'aseh yadei adam. English, the Torah, the Tehillim says, their idols are silver and gold. If you look at the word atzabehem, what's the root word in atzabehem? Etzev, atzvut, sadness. Their sadness is their silver and their gold. I wouldn't be sad if I had silver and gold. But let's say the Torah knows what they're saying. If they're saying that their sadness in silver and gold, what does it mean? It means that they are full of kochi ve'otzem yadi. The idea of the Gentile nations, the nations that don't have Torah, is that their mindset is silver and gold. Let's work, let's get power, ego, arrogance, right? It's all about me, 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 me. But that is actually at the core of their sadness. Because atzabehem, their sadness, is in the concept that they run after silver and gold. And not only do they run after silver and gold, they believe it's their kochi, their might, and it's their strength that brought them the silver and the gold. What does that teach us? It means that if I think I'm in charge, avodah zarah means if I put myself, my ego, my power in the picture of my life, it's avodah zarah, number one, and that leads me to sadness. Because just like my successes, my desires of yes, I built, I did, just like that is the source of my feeling good, so too, when things aren't going so well, the failures, so to speak, of my life, that's also the source of my sadness. How does...
Sorry.
Yeah.
I just wanted to go back to what you were saying about the tears of truth. Because I'm getting confused, because that's sadness, no?
Right. So the idol worshiping is in the sense of the idol was as if tearing down to show it has feelings. It's false feelings. I mean, obviously it was letting go of the of the lead because of the heat. It doesn't have any feeling. It's false feelings, false emotions. So what does that teach us? That avodah zarah has to do with us crying in sadness over things that I have really no control over. In other words, sadness, tears of sadness are basically tears of falsehood, or tears of avodah zarah. We're going to soon talk about what it means to have real tears when I'm sad. But the idea here is that embedded in this month is a tendency to cry in sadness over things that have nothing to do with me, that have to do with my kochi and otzem yadi, thinking that I am in control of my life and that's why I'm sad. That's one of the things we're here to do. And the fact is, look at the whole concept of the spies, right? Not believing, getting sad, not believing that Hashem is the kochi and the koach of the world. Hashem is the one that's bringing us into Eretz Yisrael. So what is this? What are the tears all about? Where does that come from? False tears. And for that, we're still paying. So we understand, and in general, we're going to go through the Bilam. We're going to see that the whole concept is not to get confused, to be real with my feelings, and to be real with my sadness, to know there are times I need to be sad, but to not relate to it in a way that I think it's about me. There's a time and a place to be sad, okay? How does the rest of the pasuk of the Tehillim go? Peh lahem v'lo yidaberu. They have a mouth, they don't speak. Einayim lahem v'lo yir'u. They have eyes, but they don't see. The words that are coming out of their mouth is all about me, 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 my arrogance. I did, I built, it's all me. We have this, we have the strongest, government, and whatever. I'm not going to name names of country, whatever, right? Hello, use your mouth for the proper things. Know what to say, know what to speak. Eyes, what are you seeing? And soon we're going to see that the sense, the avoda of this month is sight. Sefer Yetzirah brings down that the avoda is sight, to be able to see properly. I need to be able to use my eyes to be able to see things properly this month. So what are you looking at? What are you seeing? You're seeing yourself in the mirror? I remember once I heard this amazing story. I think it's actually a true story, where there was a Rav that went to a very rich man and was looking for donations for his organization. And he went to his office somewhere way up on the high of the mountains, these towers that you don't even see the top and the bottom. And he went in there, and you could see the Rav is explaining that you could see that the guy was very high and mighty and felt very good about himself. And when he asked him for money, he was sort of saying, like, investigating him, like really almost like humiliating him to see, oh, I have the money, like I'm the boss. I'm going to decide if I'm going to give you or not. And at one point, the Rav had him look at a mirror and at a window. When he looked at the mirror, he obviously saw himself. When he looked at the window, he just saw the outside world. And the Rav said to him, what is the difference between a mirror and a window? Both of them, you can sort of see a little bit more. You could see a reflection also in a window. What's the difference? The difference is that the mirror has a covering of silver on it. In other words, there's richness in a mirror, so you could see yourself very clearly. So in other words, when a person has money, they think that they see themselves in it, and they could see themselves much more, as opposed to when you're looking at a glass, you can also see the other people. So when you don't have those riches, you have the ability to see outside of yourself and to see the other, the extension of the world outside of you. And so that's the concept of avodah zarah. Do I really see a mirror, or do I see the whole world in the reflection of the outside and me within the reflection? So the avodah of this month, Likutei Moran, Rabbi Nachman Zatzal brings down, take the word Tammuz, Taf, Mem, Zayin. It's switched the letters around, although, but they stand for Zayin, Zichru, Taf, Torat, Mem, Moshe. The avoda Likutei Moran brings down of this month, Zichru, Torat, Moshe. Don't forget, hey guys, don't forget the words of the Torah. But wait a minute, there's a letter missing. What happened to the Vav? Yeah. Tammuz is spelled Taf, Ma, Mem, Vav, Zayin. Where did the Vav go? So Rabbi Nachman brings down that the Vav is the connector, the Luchot HaBrit, the broken tablets, the Aseret HaDibrot that were broken, that's the Vav. The Vav is missing because we can't completely be attached to the Torah, because unfortunately the Vav in the Tammuz is to remember those broken, because we sinned, because we got involved in avodah zarah and we didn't remember the Torah of Moshe. That's why we're missing the Vav in the concept of Zichud Torat Moshe. If you really want to be attached to the Torah, you have to remember that there was a avodah zarah that eventually really took hold of us and robbed us of the Vav, which is the Luchot HaBrit. I want to go into the concept of the idea of the sight. The fact that this month is the power that's embedded in this month, according to Sefer Yetzirah, is the idea of seeing, of sight. But we need to know, first of all, in going a little bit into the coming parsha, Parashat Balak, and the whole concept of Bilam, we have to understand that the power of Bilam was in Ayin Hara. He had Ayin Hara. He had an evil eye. In fact, going to my further notes, there were 3 things that actually the Torah depicts that he had, which were his koach. His koach came from Sinat HaBriot, from his hatred of the creation, the hatred, the rebellion, almighty power. Number 2, from he had in him a very strong Yetzer Hara, was very much driven and guided by his Yetzer Hara. And the third was his Ein Hara, that he had an evil eye. He was filled with lust and desire. He wanted everything to be for himself. He had a total Ein Hara, which is what gave him the power to draw from the evilness and to God forbid, possibly cause damage to Am Yisrael. What is our tikkun? Our tikkun is in our ayin. The Torah brings down this beautiful teaching that those that are from the students of Avraham Avinu have an ayin tova. You want to know if you have your roots embedded in Jewishness? See how you look at other people. How do you see other people? Do you see other people with a good eye, with a compassionate eye, with a loving eye, with an eye that judges people in favor? Or, God forbid, do we look at others and have this jealousy, this anger, also the sense of they don't deserve it? How do we look at other people? That is one of the things we need to work on in this month. During this month, because there's the heat, there's the stress of everyone wanting to just get through the lines and get back in the air conditioning, the fact that you could see people in a very, very negative way. Also, I have to work on my emotions. I have to know that if I allow the heat to get to me, and so to speak, and I want you to keep in your mind that vision of that idol with the lead starting to drip down. What am I getting angry about? What's frustrating me? Where's the negativity coming from? From the heat? Avodah Zarah. Avodah Zarah. I shouldn't let the heat. Again, we're humans. We understand. We have our insecurities and our limitations. But be aware. The first step in working on any emotional healing, we know, all the psychology in the world tells you the first step in healing comes from awareness. Be aware that when you're getting upset because of the heat, and you're getting frustrated and negativity is starting to crawl into you, Avodah Zarah is coming into you. Correct your eyesight. Know that in everything that we see, there's a little bit of good and there's a little bit of bad. And I'm going to talk about that in a little while. I want to talk about the idea of what it means to see the good and the bad and come up with an amazing, amazing insight as far as what the Torah brings down with the shattering of the vessels. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, but another beautiful teaching that comes out from Rabbi Nachman in terms of our ability to see good. How am I supposed to see good? I mean, I'm looking at something right now, and it's frustrating me. Practically, how do I go ahead and start seeing something good in it? So there's a beautiful pasuk also brought down in Tehillim, and it says, "Ve'od me'at ve'en rasha ve'hitbonanta al mekomo ve'eneno." And a short while, you're going to look let me translate it, I'm sorry. A short while longer, and the wicked man is not here. And you shall look back at his place, and he's not there. What is that? What does it mean? It means if I want to really see something good, but I see only bad, I need to take a second look. The first look is showing me bad, right? Now I need to turn around and think to myself, without looking at the person, turn around and think to myself, I'm gonna rewind back. I'm gonna rewind my vision back, and I want to come up with one good thing that I can come up with that person, that I can see in that person. So my husband's yelling at me, getting angry at me, telling me the schnitzel was too salty and it was burnt. Okay, what kind of good can I come up with in a situation like that? Well, maybe I can remember that this morning he prepared me a cup of coffee and it was really good. He had put in just the right amount of sugar in it and it was light, just the way I like it. Come up with something, okay, it's a little crazy, but come up with something good. And now take another look at him. With that something good in your mind, take another look at him and keep that in the forefront of your mind. And the pasuk says that if you saw something bad and you turned away for a minute and you now brought into the forefront of your mind something good, then you looked back at the same situation, the wicked person the bad that was there, it's no longer there. All you need to do is find one good aspect in the situation. Now, what if it's really hard for you to find that good aspect? So Chazal say, think about what you should be learning from the situation, and that'll be your good point. Let's just say you can't come up with the coffee that he made. He didn't make you coffee that morning, okay? You can't find anything good. Then think about the good that Hashem is trying to teach you through the message. Hashem is trying to show you some aspect of yourself in the situation that is the good. He's showing you, he's teaching you a lesson as far as something that you need to work on. Someone cares about you. Hashem is showing that he cares about you. He wants, and I always bring up the example, I don't know, and I find that there's a machloket, even with, and I'm interested what you might have to say about it, but I know one thing. If my son or my daughter was not doing something correct, and my neighbor knew about it, how would you feel if they wouldn't tell you about it? Would you want them to tell you about it or not? Now, some women will say, I don't know, maybe certain things I wouldn't want to know. There seems to be like, a difference of opinions. Do I want to know? Do I not want to know? I know, me personally, I would want to know. I would want to know. I would want to know if something's going on that my eyes aren't seeing and someone else saw it. I would want to know. So, in a way, that's what by comparison, that's what we're kind of saying. Hashem sees something in us that is not right. He wants to show it to us. Now, if I have that personality where I don't want to know, then I'm not going to want to know it from him either. I'm not going to want to know it from anyone. But you have to look at it as a form of chesed. In my opinion, it's a form of chesed. Hashem is showing me, listen, there's something wrong. I mean, if I have a milk mustache and I'm about to be on stage, I want someone to tell me, hey, clean it off. I might not feel comfortable at the moment. I'm a little embarrassed. I'm cleaning it. But I want someone to tell me if something's wrong, or if my collar's not fixed, right? Or if I have a stain. I want someone to tell me if there's something wrong with me. In a way, that's the good. That is the good that you can find in every situation. I may not be happy with the message, but hey, someone cares enough about me to tell me that there's something going on here that I need to fix.
Depends how they tell you.
You're correct, although with my husband yelling at me, I don't think that's, I mean, I could say to Hashem, couldn't you have told me the message in a different way? Couldn't you have sent me a magazine or an article or a CD knocking? I happen to stumble on a CD. You're right.
Or you can say it nicely.
You're right. But I will tell you, the stronger the message and the more uncomfortable it is for me to, grab the message, the stronger the message is for me. If it was a subtle message, then someone would just go like this. But if it's a strong message, like God forbid, I'm about to go into a street and the car is coming, then I'm going to get yanked out of the street. There's no time for soft messages there, right? So you also have to see the relativity in the way that the message is being sent to you, given to you. If the message is being given to you in a very strong way, that means pay attention, dearest. There's something big here that you need to pay attention to. So that's another thing. So there's even a message in the strongness, right? In the strength of it.
It's so hard to identify what that message means. I mean, okay, I have to pay more attention to the schnitzel.
Right. Yeah. It has nothing to do with the schnitzel, guarantee. I can give you a great recipe and it has nothing to do with the schnitzel. The idea is if we take away our ego and we take away the hurt, you hurt my pride. You hurt my pride. If I take away the ego, there's a lot of room in there to understand Hashem's messages.
But you also don't want to take a message from somebody who has a big ego.
Even in there's a message. There's even a message with me going out on the street and seeing a woman not dressed tzanua, even if she's not Jewish. Even in that, there's a message. I could think to myself, I mean, she doesn't have to be tznuah. She's not Jewish, she has no obligation, so to speak, although she does have, some sort of obligation. But let's just say, right? There's a message there even for me. Even in that, there's a message. I saw it. It bothered me. To some degree, it bothered me. The fact is, I paid attention to it, right? I saw it. Whatever I see, hear, feel, smell, anything that comes to my senses, direct message for me. Something in there for me to learn and to grow from. So there's a message even in the harshness, and there's a message even if it's coming from somebody who is full of himself and is not saying it for the right reasons even.
Right.
The whole concept of this world is there's an admixture in everything. In everything good there's bad, and in everything bad there's good. We have to know that's a klal, that's like a golden rule in the world. Everything that someone says to me, and everything that people do to me, and everything that happens, and all the good things that even happen to me, I may not even see any bad. Maybe the bad is that I'm going to get so full of myself. That could be bad.
I was listening to a lot of Ramat today, and he was talking about...
How's he feeling, by the way?
I
I heard that he had some sort of a fall and he wasn't doing so well.
I'm not sure. It's a new video, but he was talking about Adele, so I'm not sure. But he was talking about how many phone calls he gets in the middle of the night. Like, somebody will call and say, I saw a cat looking at me. Like, what do you think it means? Like,
He gets these phone calls. Wow.
So he said people are OCD about reading messages.
Yeah, no, paranoia.
That's me.
Paranoia, yeah.
I read into everything and I really have to stop.
Yeah, there's serious paranoia.
Yeah,
we all.
That's me.
Right, so again, you know what? We should go back to the 4 buttons. Okay, let's go. It's all from Hashem. Before I ask anything, okay? Now we're really in class here, okay? Girls, pay attention now. It's all from Hashem. When something happens to me, the first thing I need to think is, it's all from Hashem. There's a purpose. Don't ask questions. Don't try to find the message. Look, that's number 4. Hold on. Wait a minute. You got to answer 1 first. First, you have to recognize it's all from Hashem. Once I get to the intellectual ability to really say, okay. It's not everything that's happening right now. Wait a minute. No husband, no child, no neighbor. Hashem. I only see you. Great. Now, number 2. Who is this Hashem? Hashem's my father. Oh, wait a minute. He loved my father. My father loves me. God willing, my father loves me, right? Okay, so not only is it from Hashem and has nothing to do with my husband, it's from love. Whatever I'm experiencing now, it's from love. It's from Hashem who loves me. Okay, number 3. Wait a minute. If it's from Hashem who loves me, who's my father, 3 must be good. Look, I even know it by heart. I don't even have to point. I practiced it a lot. 3, it's all good. It's all good. Those are the 3 steps that calm, bring the fire. It's like taking a bucket of water and spilling it on the heart that's wrapped in heat and anger and negativity and emotions. Boom. Wow. Now there's only smoke coming out of the fire. Now I can say, what's the reason? So before I even see the black cat, let's just say, I have to say, wait a minute, black cat, he's showing it to me, there's a good reason, there's something good in it, there's a message in there for me, okay, let's figure it out. I'm already calm. I've emptied myself out of this hot, heated negativity of, let's just say, something that I'm not sure, there's a bad message in it. Usually our minds go right away into the negative. Calm it down, see the good, and then ask the question. Then, once you quiet your mind from the negativity, from the Yetzer Hara, if you quiet your mind down, the first thought that comes into your mind, that's the message. That's the answer.
But
that's the voice of your soul.
If somebody is telling you that you're, like, negative things about you, that you're this, you're that, you're this, you're that, how are you supposed to take that?
So first of all, you need to analyze it. I always say you need to analyze it. Now it could be obviously at the heat of the moment. You're not going to analyze it. You're too now heated. So you're going to take it, and you can actually say to yourself, okay, listen, and just also the person, I hear what you're saying. I need some time to reflect. Even no matter how harsh the message is, I need time to reflect. I what you're saying, and you do, and you need to. You owe that to yourself to reflect on it. But then what you do is you bring back those emotions when you're calm, at a later point on your time and your initiative. See the difference? Here, someone's telling me let's say someone's telling me you're mean, you're this, you're not. don't think about it. Later on, you invite those words, those harsh words back into your field, your energy field, and you start looking at it. Let me see, am I really critical? Let's see, what I said, could that be analyzed? And you do, that's what's called cheshbon nefesh. You do a self-accounting. You go over the shopping list, the dirty laundry list that they just gave you, and you see, oh, well, this, no, I don't think they're correct with that. This, maybe she had a point with what she said. You know what, okay, or next time, just think about it. You could have said that in a different way. And you do self-accounting. You let go of the negativity, and you could see the good in it. Again, so it's taking that's the good in it. The good, someone yelled and humiliated you. But the good is that it got you to a point where you're understanding it's a message. I mean, God is not coming out from the woodworks and yelling out, hello, I want to tell you a message. He's bringing you people that are telling you what He wants to tell you. If someone's telling you something, it's from God. You're getting it from Hashem. So you got to listen to it.
I grew up with a mother that, she didn't always say nice things, and I think what Hashem wanted me to learn was to not listen to her, because there was a point where it's like, you're right, I'm like this. So I think what He wanted me to learn was to stand up for myself.
Beautiful.
And not listen to her.
Then there's the good.
I'm able to listen to her and be like,
And separate yourself.
Right.
Separate yourself, and I'm positive it has made you more sensitive in the way that you talk to other people. And that probably, or I would assume, is part of your soul's rectification. You came into this world with a mother like that, let's say, in that situation, and now your job is to take the negativity and make it positive and say, you know what, that's something I'm not going to do. And not only am I not going to do it, but when I see it done to someone else, I'm going to either tell my story of, like you are now, of the harm that can come from it and how painful it could be. Again, taking the bitterness and making it bittersweet, right? And then bitter is still going to be bitter, but you can make it bittersweet. You can elevate it, right?
Maybe she's a little bit bitter.
Obviously, it came from her childhood and her baggage of her mother and her pain. She's passing her pain on to you. That's really all it is. That's all we do is we pass the pain on.
So some people saying to you the negative things because they themselves so they have carried something against you, but they see you, but it's really because they are negative.
Absolutely, and they don't know how to process it, right?
Yeah, but you have to know where it's coming from. I mean, if somebody's negative with me, I'm not necessarily put down because I don't know what is bothering her.
Right, but you should listen.
Later on, I found that something happened to her that she come on everybody else down.
Right, but you should still listen to the words. In other words, you can't just totally dismiss it. Oh, that person's cuckoo, doesn't know what he's talking about. I'm not listening. She just went through a really hard tragedy, and I'm not going to listen to anything. Again, remember, there's something in there. There's a point of truth in everything. And I want to talk about that in a minute. You wanted to say something?
No, I wanted to say that our mission was to pick our parents, no?
Yes, 100%. 100%. We picked out everything.
I see it.
Everything.
So you're gonna
everything. I was just speaking to I was just speaking to someone the other day who wanted to do some Torah therapy sessions, and she said, I want to see you regarding one of my children. I'm having a really, really hard time with one particular child of mine. And she went over and started, and I said to her, I said, let me ask you, is that something that you struggle with, what you're seeing in her? And she says, was quiet, and she says, yeah. I said, so that's what's bothering you. Let's call a spade a spade. What's bothering you about this child is that this child is reminding you of the negativity that you have within you, and you don't want to see yourself in the mirror, and she's your mirror. She says, yes, that's exactly so. I said, then we can do a Torah therapy session, because we already did 50% in just that one, with your acknowledgement, of knowing that that's what we have to work on. We have to see where that is within you. Why are you so afraid to confront this part of you? And so that's really what everything is a reflection of who we are. So every time someone has something to say, there is something about that in us. It could be a grain, a granule of salt, of nothingness, but it's something there.
Is there always a message? Or
Always.
sometimes be just,
No.
it's a kapara?
Everyone says that. It is a kapara. Remember, it's always a kapara. It's always an atonement. It always atones for something. And Yisurim Lelo Avon. It's always a kapara. Everything is a kapara. But that doesn't mean there's not a message. There's always a message. There's always what do we say? Yisurim, Musar. Same root word. In all Yisurim and all challenges, there's a bit of Musar. There's a bit of rebuke. There's a message. There's something that I need to learn and grow from. Something.
What if the message never changes? Say you've done your cheshbon and nefesh and everything, and you can be with the person 20, 30 years, and it's the same message. Does that mean I just never got it?
It could mean that there's still a blemish inside of you. There's a klipa. We're going to talk about the klipa in 1 second. There's a really strong, deep shell that still we haven't successfully broken through. And another thing I'll tell you that happens if we see something continuously going on and on and on, it means that in the Yisurim itself, that's of the form of rebuke. In other words, we have to understand, even if I don't have the da'at, like you have a lot of people who go through difficulty, people who don't keep Torah, who are far away from the truth, and they go through Yisurim. And I know a lot of mothers or women will say to me, my son, he's suffering, and he's not doing tshuva, he's not happy, he's not with his Torah, he's not happy, he has Yisurim, and the Yisurim are not bringing him anywhere. And I'll say to them, plan B is happening to your son or to your child or to that person. What is plan B? Plan B means that the Yisurim itself is like taking a hammer and you're banging and banging and banging. It's also cracking the shell. It's also cracking the shell. So the Yisurim itself might be that the dot is now sort of put behind closed doors in you and you don't realize what more you need to be doing. Just take the Yisurim and say, okay, the Yisurim itself is like a hammer. It's banging through the klipa of mine, and it's going to expose the bigger da'at, the knowledge that I need to come with, and the awareness that needs to come and settle in me will eventually come through when Hashem sees that I'm ready to accept it. So I want to talk about a beautiful insight that I read from Rabbi Itamar Schwartz, Bilvavi. He brings down a beautiful concept about seeing the good, about the idea of seeing the good. How can I see the good? I mean, I'm looking at something, it looks bad, it feels bad, it resonates bad. Where am I supposed to see the good? And he brings down the concept that in everything, if you take an incident, an event, every event has basically 288 parts to it. I'll tell you in a minute where the 288 comes in. Look at the beautiful, beautiful bit of Torah wisdom that is embedded in this 288. So if I take a situation, there's 288 parts to that situation. 287 of them could be all negative, but there's always that one part of the 288 that's going to be good. That good is the root. In other words, everything that we see in life is like a tree. Okay? You've got the root and you've got the branches. Very rarely do we ever see a root. Very rarely, going back to what you were saying, very rarely can we really, with all the dot and the davening and the sweat and the tears and the begging and the pleading and the relentless, please Hashem, just tell me, what is it? What is the message here? What do you want me to do? Let me just finish it and be done with it. Very rarely can we really get down to that root, because that root is really, what do we say? The world is upside down. It's really in Shemayim. There are hidden secrets in every event that we have to go through. That's really, the secrets, right, are in Shemayim. So we're only with the roots. So we see with the branches, So we really only see the outer picture. We don't see what's really hiding in there. Where does this 288 come from? So, hold on, let me just finish the thought. I'm sorry. So where is the good? Where can I extract the good from everything? Knowing that there's a root. Knowing that there's a root of something good in Shemayim. Again, going back to the idea of lahamtik Dinim b'shorsham. There's a very, very beautiful teaching in Kabbalistic Torah, the mystical teachings, that tell us that everything has its source. Everything, it has some sort of a source. The source is by Hashem, because everything stems from Hashem. And Hashem is all good, right? Hashem is my Father. Hashem is good. Everything is good. So when I attach myself to the root of the situation, I'm attaching myself to Hashem, which is all good, which means I brought good into the tree. I've attached myself to that good source from within everything else that I'm looking at. Let me go and just go one step further. I know. Hold on. No, but now I'm gonna bring it down to a beautiful, beautiful, insightful.
Not just attaching to Hashem, it's attaching
to the root which is Hashem, and that's what it is. Lamtik dinim b'shorsham means I'm taking this harsh situation. It's a klipa. There's an orange with a thick peel. I can't get to the fruit. And I just have to know and recognize and say to myself, but I know inside this klipa there's fruit. I'm going inside. I'm taking my eyes and I'm permeating the outside and I'm saying, I know there's a fruit here. There is a fruit. I know that there's a fruit in the klipa of the orange and the peel. I know. And the whole avoda is to peel it and get to the fruit. So I have to constantly, as they say, keep your eye focused on the fact that there is good here. And just the fact that you instill the goodness inside the bad, you've broken in that the klipa. And here I'm going to tell you how. Where did this 288 come from? It all comes way, way, way back to the teaching of the Arizal, of the breaking, the shattering, shvirat kelim, the shattering of the vessels. Very briefly, before the world as we know it, the creation came about, there was a shattering of the vessels. The light of Hashem, Or and Sof, was permeated existence. There was no room for hiddenness. There was no free will. The light of Hashem, as it will return, God willing, when Mashiach comes, the light of Hashem will permeate all of existence. There'll be no more klipot, no more evil. There'll be no more hiddenness. It'll be full exposure, as they say, Hashem yotzi et Shemesh minal tika. The sun will be literally taken out of its hoist. In other words, the full light, the full clarity, full revelation of Hashem's goodness will be exposed to everyone. Be'ezrat Hashem bekarov. Amen. But so at the time when this happened, the creation couldn't hold the amount of intense truthfulness and light of Hashem, so there was a breakage. And the Arizal brings down that the original light of Hashem broke down into 288 pieces. 288, what he calls nitzutzei kedusha, the soul root. They're called, I want to bring down the exact translation, general root sparks. That's how he brings it down in English. General root sparks were scattered into material existence as we know it today. Our material existence is founded on these 288 general root sparks of holiness. These sparks of holiness are basically shells, and I'm giving the example of the orange because it's the best example, or a walnut, however, anything is that you see naturally that has a shell in it. That's our existence. There's one big, huge shell over existence that basically within it is goodness. The divine light was imprisoned in literally shells of darkness. Okay? Let's just stay with me for a minute before you ask questions, because God willing, it'll all come and become clear. Bottom line is, Hashem's light is captured in darkness. And in every situation that we find ourselves in, we are essentially every time we infuse Emuna, we infuse light in the darkness, we in fact break open a part, or I don't know what percentage, of one of these 188 root sparks. We break it open and release the light. The light ascends back up to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and in turn, we get a little bit of that light, and it shines on our neshama, and we become more closer to Hashem. It shaves away the nefesh habehemit, which we spoke about a couple classes ago. It shaves away the animalistic drive, animalistic tendencies, all of the darkness and the negativity that we have within ourselves gets shaved off every time we pierce a little bit of Emuna into the difficulty, the situation that we're confronting, into the difficulty. Look at the beauty of 288. 288, if you take the letters of 288, it spells Resh, Chet, Pei. Rachaf. Where is that root, Rachaf, shown in the Torah the first time? Veruach Elokim merachefet, Rachaf merachefet al pnei haaretz. The essence of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the essence of godly light and godly presence, was hovering in the beginning, in Sefer Bereshis, was hovering over creation, was hovering over the land. Again, stick with me. The concept of the 288 is that Hashem's presence is hovering over everything at every moment. Hashem's presence is in the 288. It's in the Rachaf. It's in the Resh Chet Pei. It's in the 288 general root sparks. It's hovering over. Hashem's presence is always hovering over the darkness, always hovering over every negative state that we find ourselves in. And if we choose to see Hashem's presence in that Rachaf, in that darkness, in those 288 general roots, change the letters around. Rachaf, Resh, Chet, Pei, what do you get? Perach. You get a flower. Every time you choose, now I'm going to even play more Scrabble with you. Every time you take Hashem's the 288 clouds, the shrouds, the shells of darkness, and you dig. How do you say dig in Hebrew? Chofer, Chet, Resh, Pei. You take those letters and switch them around and it spells the word dig. Whenever you find yourself, and here's the punchline, and this will bring everything together with Hashem's help. Every time you find yourself in darkness, every time you find yourself in negativity, you need a dig, you need a chofel, you need to dig and look for the goodness. And you will find the perach, because you will find Hashem's presence in there. And that's the good. That's the good. In everything bad, that's the good. If you can't find anything good in anything that goes in your life, find Hashem. But you have to dig. And that's the avoda. That's the avoda. The avoda is to dig and look for Hashem and to yell out to Him and say, Hashem, I know you're here. What does Rabbi Nachman say? Ask the famous 3-word question, where are you? That's what breaks the klipa. That's what breaks the shard. That's what breaks open the shell. Where are you, Hashem? Just the keen awareness. Think about it. Just think about it for 1 minute. You're an alien. Welcome to planet Earth. You're an alien. You've just landed. And where did they put you? They decided they want to show you the goodness of planet Earth. So they take you to a hospital and they show you that whenever a person gets sick, they're beautifully taken care of. Don't you see that doctors here, they're attending to this patient, and the nurses here administering medicine to this person. And then they take the alien to an operating room. And they show, look how these doctors are saving this person's life. And the alien is looking at these doctors taking these knives, cutting open this person, blood gushing out, people rushing about, giving them needles, shoving them needles in their body. And he says, what are you guys, nuts? Did I land in Gehenna? You call this chesed? You call this goodness? You're cutting the poor man open. What are you, nuts? Go and explain to that person that the doctors are doing a life-saving procedure. for this man. And he willingly went into the room. Even more so, he willingly signed on the paper saying, I will not sue you if I die. I won't be able to because I'll be dead, but it doesn't matter.
He's paying him for it.
And he's paying him for it. What is the difference between seeing the goodness and not? You know what it is? If I explain to that alien exactly what's going on there, that this, all what we just said, that the guy is willing, he paid for it, he agreed to it, they're saving his life, suddenly the alien doesn't think so bad about the situation. Suddenly he's like, oh, I got it. What does that mean for us? What's missing? What's missing in that darkness? What's missing when I'm confronting that darkness and that negativity? What's missing? That little bit of information. That's why they call it Galuta Da'at. That's why the darkness is the Chosel Da'at. Galuta Da'at means I don't have that knowledge. That little piece of the puzzle, that knowing. Why Hashem is putting me through this is missing. And that's what puts me in the darkness. So really, it's a galut of ignorance when you think about it. We're in an exile of ignorance, of simply not knowing why I'm going through what I'm going through. But if I was to know why it is that I'm going through, then I'd be taken out of my galut, I'd be taken out of my darkness, no negativity. Wow. Maybe I would even say 2 thumbs up for you, Hashem. You're doing a great job. And that's what Emuna does. Emuna breaks open the klipa so that once you take away the darkness, the light will be there. Now, for those who listened to last week's class, we learned about the whole concept of tohu vavohu, and I want to bring back that this whole concept, where is it? In the concept, in that same verse of tohu vavohu. It's in that same as part of Bereshit that speaks about the idea that nothing has a form. There's no form of life. Life is totally objective. There's objectivity. Life is only about what I perceive it to be. And the mindset that I inject, the thought, the speech, the feelings that I inject into that situation is what it becomes. And if I inject it with goodness, and I inject it with Emuna, that is what it becomes, a good, it has a spark of goodness in it. Yeah. Very deep concept, I know, sorry. Sorry to rattle your brain here today. Yeah.
I'm trying to, okay, so like really the only reason we're here is to connect to Hashem. That's the only reason, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's our mission here.
Actually, let me make it a little bit more precise. The reason why we're here is to break open those klipas, redeem that light. That light wants nothing more than to return back to its source. We are basically here to redeem those spark of light by injecting Emuna and thinking positively and injecting the goodness and the knowingness that everything's good. And by doing so, we're redeeming, so to speak, the feminine aspect, which is the light that's in there is the feminine, and bringing her back to her masculine, to her partner, to her, uniting it back up on high, which, by the way, there's a Shlom Beit teaching in there too, which means that when we are able to judge our husbands in favor, we are essentially breaking the klipa, redeeming our femininity and attaching it back to our husband, which is the male. And that's why there's so many issues with Shlom Beit, by the way, in our generation, because we're here to break open the toughest klipas, which is why there's so many Shlom Beit problems. So basically the idea is we are here to redeem and create more light in this world. And by doing so, bringing more godly awareness, because light is godly awareness.
Right. Like also women were created to be like other connectors. So it just seems like we have to be like helping everybody. It just seems like that's what we were created for, and that's
motherliness.
Like,
that's
this side, that side, your kids,
and we can do it.
But
that's Bina. That's why we have Bina. Bina is the mother. Bina is Bona. We build. The mothers build. We are here to build.
So it's a big responsibility.
Yes, and I'm going to teach you another.
It's pretty heavy and pretty overwhelming.
But wait a minute. See why? Look at the negativity. It could be empowering. Wow, look at the power Hashem gave me, you, all of us. Look at the power Hashem gave us.
He obviously gave us the potential, so obviously, but like what happens is it gets alright to get tired?
Absolutely.
Like when
you know where the tiredness and the sadness come from my disbelief that I can't do it. If I knew I could do it.
Or just go to sleep and get a little more sleep.
Go to sleep means I don't want to deal with it. That's really what sleeping. I mean, again, no. I'm saying, from what I'm hearing from Esther, is not just. I'm not talking about going to sleep at night. I'm talking about just wanting to just go to sleep and just be away with it. You know, just be done with it. That's just. I just want to go into my own kuch, my own cave, and I don't want to. You know, I don't want to deal with it. But the idea is, I'll teach you another very important Kabbalistic teaching. Bina is where all the Heichal Habina in Shemayim is where all refuah comes in. All refuah comes from the Heichal, the chamber of Bina, which is the mother. That's why the Geula is coming through us. Their job.
I've come to that realization, but it's like a very overwhelming realization.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
it's very. I have a lot of responsibility.
It's like a really big job.
Yes, it is. But no, you're not the only woman in the world. Right. We've got a lot of women, girl power.
I don't have one friend who doesn't feel that way. Right. We're all feeling the same.
Then maybe we should join. Maybe we need to join forces, and maybe we. No, I'm not kidding you.
It's like,
you know what? You take one stick, and you can easily break it. But take 10. It's very hard to break. I don't think we encourage one another enough. I don't think we speak about it enough to encourage one another enough. I think we all feel like we're alone. But if I can say to my friend, when they're saying when I'm being asked how are you doing, if I can feel comfortable enough, okay, not to every moshmo in the street, I'm saying, but to like a good friend of mine, and I could say, listen, this is what I'm going through. I'm having a really hard time, but I know Hashem is with me, and I know that and Hashem has given me the koch, and He's given me the chokhmah bina and dad, and I know that I could do it, and da. I'm giving strength. I'm sharing with her. I'm giving her. I'm empowering her. I don't feel like I'm alone, and then she feels comfortable to talk to me, and then we're working at it together, and we're giving each other chizuk. That's what we need to be doing.
So I find here in Israel people speak from the heart and they share like their whatever.
Right.
I won't say issues. I don't really share everything. But the thing is, like, I didn't feel that like where I lived before. I didn't feel like.
Wow.
Is it just like, is that again like filters?
Or we have to create it. It could be that I'm in an environment that really isn't.
No, I mean, in Israel, I feel like in Chutzah, people don't share.
Don't share, right? So I'm saying, so for those of us.
No, that's what I'm saying. So is it because they just can't talk? There's a block there. There's an emotional
like here
block.
you feel everybody.
So here, because you're in Eretz Yisrael, you feel like you're at home. You know, it's not for nothing. Here in Israel, you feel you're at home. Right. Listen, you can walk on a bus.
Right.
Somehow or another, that driver, you feel some of your brothers, uncles, some great-grand. There's a connection there. You feel, Mamash, you're a family. And that goes to say for me,
it's too much.
We have a very big family, I know. No, but we do. We have this connectedness here that we just don't have anymore.
What if you just feel their energies? Like you feel everyone's energy.
So
like, where it's like very
good,
overwhelming. Like
overwhelmed.
I feel when somebody's anxious. I feel when somebody's it's like that tense feeling that you feel in the air.
So cover it with goodness. We don't battle the idea is we don't battle the darkness, we don't battle the negativity, we don't confront the negativity. What we do is we shine a lot of light. Someone who's negative, my heart goes out to you. I'm sure you have the strength to do it. Hashem doesn't leave anybody. Whatever it is, just keep shining light. You'll walk away feeling also mechuzeket. You'll feel like you've also strengthened yourself, shining a lot of light. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I once read a book by Rav, and he said in that book, it was actually for the men,
and shut them back.
Right. I know we're not supposed to read the manly perspective. Then we said he said on page 125 you're supposed to do that.
But I found it interesting that he said the man should shine light on his family.
They're the sun.
100%. Yes.
Exactly.
We're the moon and he's the sun.
Because we're saying be now we're givers, and so where does that come from?
So it's it's fun that you're talking about the sun and the moon, because you're right. The moon really accepted the lower job and stepped down, so to speak, so that the sun, the male, could be the head honcho, so to speak. But you have to remember something, that the moon has the ability to take whatever the sun gives and to shine all day long. The sun, you don't see it at night. The moon, you see it during the day. So we have the ability to take whatever little that the sun is giving us and to shine even throughout the day and the night. We don't realize when we say girl power, oh yeah. Oh yeah. We have a lot of power for the good and for the bad, right? We just read about this, right? Ishto shel on ben Pelet. Thank you, my daughter knows better than me. And then you had the wife of Korah. Do we see? Yeah. Torah says it very clearly. Isha bona, Isha oreset. It's all in our hands.
Say anywhere to be a shmata.
There's no mitzvah to be a shmata. Remember, there's absolutely no mitzvah. My friend of mine said to me, she heard from a Rav, he says, there's no mitzvah to be a shmata. 100%. But that, again, I don't know what you're referring to. I mean, again, I have to figure out what to say, what I want to say without it being Lashon Hara, especially because it's live. I can't edit this, so I got to be really careful about what I say.
Maybe this would help you. Like, women have a problem with burot. Right? We sometimes feel, it's like, are we born like with this guilt conscious? Like, is the placenta like full of guilt? No, because I heard the shorish of placenta is guilt, equals guilt, or I don't know what. Like,
oh, really? That I never heard of.
But like, what is that? Like, why don't we just know? Like, I'm tired now.
The reason why.
Later, I'm going to sleep. Like,
so the guilt comes from the emotions. Women are more emotional. Women are more emotional, so we tend to feel more guilty because we're more emotional. Also,
because of our nature, we're givers. So when we feel we need something, our first reaction is to want to fill that need.
But we're also taught by society, I'm not going to mention which school system, to constantly, be giving, don't ask. Like I read an article in Mishpacha where the marriage specialist told the wife, when your husband comes home, you need to just listen.
Oh my goodness, I'm sorry.
Just listen.
Okay.
How long? 5 minutes?
And she wrote
how long?
You're supporting him financially, and you're taking care of the kids, and you're
hold on, no, we're not.
Come on.
Oh no, we're not talking about being. No, we're not talking about being a shmata. I will tell you, but with all that, I will tell you that when you make your husband a king, you will definitely feel like you are a queen. And I'm not going to tell you not. And I'm going to tell you another thing. Men, sorry to break it to you ladies, men were created with a very big ego. And if we don't massage them, if we don't massage their ego, they're going to demand their ego be massaged in a very tyrant, dominant way. I mean, again, you can't change the nature of men and women. And the way Hashem created it. I'm really sorry. And you got feminists that are going to be sending me, I don't know, comments here. I'm sorry. I'm just telling facts. I'm not here to tell you we need to always bend over and do everything, and not pay attention to our needs. I'm saying let's first lay the facts down. The facts are men have an ego and it needs to be attended to. If you don't attend to it, it will come out like an animal.
Meaning what? Like make them believe that they're bigger than they are?
This is not at all what I wanted to talk about, but yes, go ahead.
I just want to share, I see that I'm the oldest here, and I really, for 21 years, from morning till night, I just listen to different sources, and now I'm with Rabbi Nachman also. Baruch Hashem,
אמן.
אז משפט הזה שרבנית אמרה, ועוד מעט ואין רשע, והתבוננת על מקומו והוא איננו, רבי נחמן מסביר את זה בצורה כזאת.
Yeah, speak in English.
in philosophy. So he explains this the verse.
How do I see if there are comments or
When you
anything?
see a Rasha,
No?
first of all, we know that there is no Rasha at all. Everybody is good. If we remember that we are one in the eyes of Hashem,
It's funny, I said
all of us are one in the eyes of Hashem, so we won't even look at each other. So when we עוד מעט אין רשאי התבוננת על מקומו ואיננו, when we look at the husband, at the child, especially in this generation that is ba'akev, the toll, and it is the hardest time. Even the biggest
10 minutes we'll finish.
Tanaim were afraid. They didn't agree. They didn't want to live in our generation. And we have this hoot.
Yes.
To be here.
Absolutely.
And I'm telling you the truth, if it wasn't for these studies, I wouldn't even be around a long time ago. Just because we came here to learn and to forget our ego. We're nothing. We're nothing. Without the husbands.
Now again, so we need to
zero without the husbands. We have to remember. He was created.
We're zero in general. In general, we're ayin. No, in general, we're nothingness.
The only person in the world.
Let me just, if we already got into the subject, let me just bring something there.
Major subject to get into.
Yeah, I know. I just want to say one thing, and then I want to go into some sort of a very quick guided imagery to help us with our emotions and balance our emotions. So let me just say one thing when it comes to men, okay? The way that we're supposed to respond to our men, get out your paper and pen, because this is very, very important. Chazal bring down the way we're supposed to respond to our husbands is in fourfold, okay? Take our relationship as 100%, divide it 25, 25, 25, 25, okay? We're supposed to relate to our husbands on 4 different levels. One, and I'm going to go into the details of it, right? First, as a wife to her husband. Second, as a mother to her son. Third, as a brother to a sister. And fourth, as a daughter to her father. And I'm going to explain to you. The way we're supposed to have a relationship with our husbands, first of all, husband-wife, pretty self-explanatory, that when it comes to intimacy, hugging, smooching, being, soft, physically, emotionally, all that, yes. Second, as a sister and I'm going to explain the easy ones first, sister and brother, that's like regular Monday, honey, pick up the milk, pick up the kupat cholim, don't forget to, bring this to the pharmacy, like roommates. Every day, mundaneness, because we have to live in the world, we have to relate. Third aspect of a relationship between husband and wife, man and woman, should be as a daughter to her father. And this is an avenue where most of us as women, we don't fulfill this role. What does it mean? How am I supposed to relate to my husband as a daughter to a father? I'm supposed to give my husband the sense that he is like my father. I'm looking up to him. I need his guidance. Like a daughter needs guidance from a father. Also sometimes listens to what the father has to say, sometimes unwillingly, but I have to listen to my father. Showing respect, a little bit of awe, a little bit of kavod, right? Understanding that he has that level of being able to guide me. And where do I miss out on this? Most of us miss out. How do I nourish that aspect of the relationship? By saying to my husband, more times than not, tell me, honey, I know that you're such a Talmid Chacham, and I know that you explained to me once the halacha on, I don't know what, shatnez. Can you explain it to me again? Looking up to him, giving him the impression that I'm here, I'm the daughter, and you're the father, and I'm looking up to you for guidance. Teach me, show me. What do you think I should do when it comes to just nonchalantly asking our husbands for opinions, even if you don't need his opinion? Even if you don't need his opinion, you know the answer. Ask him his opinion. Make him feel like he is that fatherly figure in your life. and that you respect his guidance and you respect his wisdom, okay? And last but not least, this is also an avenue where unfortunately we sometimes seem to fail short in, is a mother to her son. Honey, let me check you. You look pale. Can I get you a glass of water? Oh, can I get you 2 Acamol? Can I get you 2 Tylenol? Oh, come, sit down. Do you want another cup of soup? Do you want tea? Do you want... You look tired. As they come through the door, give them a, really give them, they just walk through the door. Give them a cup of cold water. Like a mother would want to take care of her child, right? To treat your husband in that loving, and I've heard not one and not two Rabbeim and Rabbaniyot say, if we would treat our husbands like we take care and treat our children, there would be almost no shalom bayit problems in this world. Literally. If we would give to our husbands what we give to our kids, if we would be as patient with our husbands as we are patient with kids, we would give unconditionally to our husbands as we unconditionally give to our kids, there'd be a lot less shalom bayit problems. I wouldn't say all, but there would be a lot less. So we have to understand that. When it comes to the concept, he came in at the perfect time. He didn't hear any of the aspects. That's great. You came in perfect time, husband of the Falabite. So the idea, though, is that we have to know we have to relate to our spouses on all those 4 levels to achieve an ideal relationship. So I wanted to end off, I didn't give off half this year, but God willing we'll do next week, but I wanted to do this very short meditation because next week we're not going to be able to play music, and I felt like playing music for this meditation was important. And it's a meditation for us to hopefully be able to work on throughout the whole month, but in general, to work on our emotions. The concept of the meditation is to increase loving kindness within ourselves and also to others. Very quick. I purposely wanted something that's very quick, very easy to do every day, takes no more than 5 minutes, not even. And I invite us all to really take part in this meditation, to be able to increase inside of us loving kindness within ourselves, because we know if we can't love ourselves, it's certainly very, very hard to love others. Okay, so let's start by closing our eyes. Okay, close our eyes, and let's take 3 very deep breaths in through our nose, hold for a second, and out through our mouth. Another very deep breath in through the nose, hold for a second, out through the mouth. One last time. And the goal of this meditation is to fill ourselves with loving kindness and to plant chesed into our heart, to soften our heart, to let go of the negativity, any avodah zarah. So let's start first by filling ourselves up with loving kindness. And I want you to say to yourself internally the following sentences. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be safe from inner and outer dangers. May I be healthy in mind, heart, and body. May I be at ease and happy. And last, may I be connected to Hashem always, the source of all loving kindness. And as you breathe that in, I want you to think about someone who's very dear to you. And we're going to change the pronoun I to you and fill that person and send him loving kindness as well. So we begin by sending them loving kindness by saying, may you be filled with loving kindness. May you be safe from inner and outer dangers. May you be well in mind, heart, and body. May you be at ease and happy. And may you be connected to Hashem always, the source of all loving kindness. And the more difficult part of this loving kindness meditation is to choose a person who you have challenges with in your life and fill them with the loving kindness that you've just given to yourself and to the one you love in a revealed way. So take a minute to bring to your heart someone you have challenges with and have difficulty with. And let's send them also loving kindness and let go of the negativity by saying to them, once again, may you be filled with loving kindness. May you be safe from inner and outer dangers. May you be well in mind, heart, and body. May you be at ease and happy. And last, may you be connected to Hashem always, the source of all loving kindness. And take another beautiful deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth, and feel free to open up your eyes when you're ready. So it's a quick meditation that I had to rush through a little bit more because of time, but it's very, very kedai to send good energy, good positive energy to yourself, to the people that you love, and to also the people who you have difficulty with, because this is the month to do it. This is the month to come back to our inner truth. This is the month to be able to connect to who we really are, and we really are. Remember what we said before. The students of Avraham Avinu have an ayin tova, lev rachman, baishan, gomlei chesed. We are loving, kind people. We are people who have good eyes. We are lahavdil, way on the other end of the spectrum of Bilam, and what we need to learn from the Bilam HaRasha is what not to do. And that's the avoda of Chodesh Tammuz, is to heighten, to be released from the lower emotions and lift ourselves up from the klipa, lift ourselves up from the negativity, and be able to see the loving kindness that we have within ourselves. We have it. It's also enshrouded in klipas. Everything, remember we said, everything has this klipa. The idea is to be able to see the goodness that we have inside of us, and to break it open and to reveal it to ourselves as well. Because the most important thing is to first love myself, forgive myself, get rid of the guilt. And God willing, through that, I'll be able to be more tolerant of other people as well. Be'ezrat Hashem, we should have Hatzlacha Rabbah and really work on controlling our emotions. This is just the beginning, God willing. A lot more to learn. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.